that was the other firm.
Yeah.
Did he push off me on it?
That's when you get one. Okay.
No. No, he, presented.
That was O'Connor Davies.
He had PK O'Connor Davis, right?
We're doing Citrin Cooperman tonight.
Yes.
Correct.
I'm just
Right,
thinking-
that's our accounting firm.
Accountant, yes. And
The same ones. Welcome, everybody, to the Rye-Town Park Commission meeting of October 21st, 2025. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Debbie, please call the roll. We have two members on Zoom.
Commissioner Josh Cohn,
Here.
Commissioner Louis Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Jason Klein,
Here.
Commissioner Emily Hurd,
here,
and I do not believe Commissioner Lindsay Jackson has joined us yet, but she will be. President Gary Zuckerman.
Here. And I just lost my whole thing. Okay, that's not good. I accidentally hit the Zoom button on my thing. First item is adoption of minutes of September 16th. If there are no additions or corrections, I have a motion and a second to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
AI or just I?
No, I'm nautical tonight.
Oh.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Debbie, public comment on non-agenda items. There are no members of the public in person here. Anybody on Facebook? Nope.
I don't believe so.
Okay. First item of business is a presentation from the Rye Youth Council to conduct its annual Rainbow Run. Somebody was supposed to be here.
She's gonna, I just talked to her, she got the days confused, she's on her way to a computer, she'll text me when she gets to a computer, she'll log in.
Okay, that's fine. Next item is a resolution authorizing the Park Commission to enter into a contract with Citrin Cooperman for accounting services for a period of 1 year. This is the same firm that has done our accounting since I've been the supervisor. And Debbie, do you want to just speak for 1 moment on this?
Yeah, this is an arrangement that has been in conversation for several months. The Citrin Cooperman recently actually acquired the accounting firm that's been working with the town since 2016. We received a proposed new master services agreement and rate structure based on their existing scope of work. It was too high. We delved pretty deeply into their statement of work and have pared down their work because we have staff members who are very capable and will pick up some of the time-consuming tasks. So what you see before you is a resolution to that. Our fees are going up approximately 15% year over year. It's a 12-month arrangement, and we'll see where it goes from here.
On the resolution, it lists what the scope of work will be. This is the same firm that obviously does the town of Rye, and the town of Rye is paying what,
74%.
76% to the town of Rye and 24% to Rye Town Park, based on the work that's being performed. The monthly cost is a little under $2,000 for Rye Town Park. So, any questions, comments? If not, may I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second, please.
Second.
Debbie, please call the roll.
Commissioner Marino?
Yes.
Commissioner Klein?
Yes.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yes.
Commissioner Cohn?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson? Still absent. And President Zuckerman?
Yes. Our next item is a presentation of our draft climate vulnerability assessment by Indigo River. This was a grant that we received a year or so ago for climate resiliency. And we have a couple of presenters. Introduce yourselves. You're very small on my...
Sure.
Really?
Annie Boggs from Indigo River. Alix, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, and Alix Poche, also from Indigo River.
We also have Sarah Powell from the Long Island Sound Partnership, who's here with us today as well.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
So I'll go ahead and share my screen if that's okay.
Sure.
And I'll go ahead and get started. So yeah, thanks so much for having us today. As we said, I'm Annie Boggs from Indigo River, joined by my colleague Alix, and we're just happy to be here to present a little bit about what we've been working on and obtain some feedback from you as well. Also joined by Sarah from the Long Island Sound Partnership, who's supporting this planning effort at Rye Town Park. The effort's supported through the Long Island Sound Resilience Planning Support Program, which was established by the New York Sea Grant and Connecticut Sea Grant, and with funding from the US EPA. So a lot of partners here, and it's been wonderful working with Rye Town Park and Debbie and Ruby, so we really appreciate your time and effort thus far. So just wanted to provide a status of our work thus far. In the spring, we prepared a vulnerability assessment. This type of assessment identifies community assets, systems, and populations that are susceptible to the impacts of a changing climate. It's a necessary step in developing an adaptation strategy for Rye Town Park. We were also able to attend a community conversation event in May to obtain some on-the-ground feedback, and then followed up with obtaining feedback from a digital survey as well. And for all of our assessments, we're using the New York State Climate Smart Communities Guidance, which is a state program that helps local governments take actions to reduce emissions and adapt to climate change. In the vulnerability assessment, we found that the hazards with the greatest potential to affect Rye Town Park were increasing rainfall and flooding, erosion, rising sea levels and storm surge, and increasing severity of heat events. As you'll see the figure on the right, the bright pink is the structures on the National Register that are within the FEMA floodplain. So kind of overlapping vulnerabilities here. We're currently in the adaptation plan phase of the project. The adaptation plan outlines a vision and a set of strategies to improve resilience. So in this plan, we're providing planning level solutions with recommendations and kind of a roadmap for next steps and implementation. And we're hoping to obtain some feedback from you tonight and after this event, just to make sure what we're proposing makes sense and will be effective. So just wanted to provide a little high-level findings of the vulnerability assessment. As I said, concern number one was increasing severity of rainfall and flooding. This is followed by rising sea levels and increasing heat events. So we've depended a lot on site-specific studies that have been prepared at Rytown Park. This is a pretty well-documented concern, the extreme rainfall and just the park's inability to adequately handle stormwater. And the map at the right just shows the existing drainage infrastructure, how it discharges stormwater to the Long Island Sound, and then overlaid with the FEMA floodplain map. And then I will pass it to Alix to present a little bit on the mapping of sea level rise and storm surge.
Yep. Thanks, Annie. So these maps model maximum possible storm surge inundation under both category 1 and category 3 hurricanes. Reds and purples indicate higher expected water depth above ground level, and then greens and yellows show lower expected water depths above ground level. So for Rytown Park, the category 1 scenario shows limited flooding, mostly 1 to 4 feet along the immediate beach fronts and the southern edge near the parking area. And under a category 3 storm, flooding extends much further inland, with water depths potentially exceeding 8 to 12 feet in low-lying areas, mostly particularly along the southern part of the site, around the parking lot and around the pond. Annual probabilities are 2% for category 1 or higher, and 1% for category 3 or higher. And these seem pretty low, but they do represent pretty recurring risks that compound over time, especially as sea level rise intensifies these effects. Next slide, please. And so these maps show decade-specific flooding projections for Rytown Park based on the nearby tide gauge in New Rochelle. The 2040 scenario corresponds to roughly 12 inches of projected sea level rise, leading to potential tidal flooding approximately 147 days per year. And by 2060, projected rise increases to about 23 inches with 237 flood days annually, which means near daily tidal flooding. Inundation begins to affect the beachfront and parking areas in both timeframes, but inland park areas remain mostly dry. And these maps show when flooding might occur based on current science, but because emission scenarios and ice sheet dynamics are based on ranges and are difficult to predict, we also zoomed in a little bit more and looked at what foot-based scenarios look like. In the next slide. So here we're zoomed in and looking at what 2-foot and 5-foot sea level rise inundation would look like detached from chronological predictions. So these are just visualizations, but not directly tied to specific year or emission scenarios. Here, blue areas show high confidence flooding, and orange shows areas with low confidence, so it could either be wet or dry. And the 2-foot scenario shows inundation extending primarily along the beach, with the park's central green area and pond remaining largely above water. And the 5-foot scenario reveals much more extensive inundation extending along the beach and slightly into the park. And I'll hand it back to Annie.
Thanks, Alix. So yeah, we did a lot of mapping as part of this effort, and just high-level findings of the adaptation plan was that without any adaptation measures, Rytown Park risks disruption to operations and safety within the next several decades. This is exacerbated by outdated drainage systems, extreme rainfall. It does affect the park's ability to effectively manage stormwater. And we looked at a lot of climate projections, including the New York State climate impacts assessment. And for the South Hudson region, that includes Rye. Total precipitation is projected to increase between 4 to 11% by the 2050s and between 7 to 17% by the 2080s, compared to the 1981 to 2010 average. And this is just based on the different emission scenarios. And then for the beach area at Ryetown Park, which is a focus of our efforts, as you'll see the figure at the right here, it's mapped, much of the beach area is mapped as an extreme risk area by the New York State Department of State, with high risk and moderate areas mapped further upland at the park. And these extreme risk areas just show, they show frequent inundation, areas that have been vulnerable to erosion in the past, and those that are likely to be inundated in the future with sea level rise. So based on all of that kind of data existing and projected, we took a stab at suggesting different adaptation measures for the park. I've categorized them here into kind of short-term flood mitigation and operational measures, longer-term flood measures, green infrastructure solutions, and beach-focused natural solutions. The first was more short-term measures that could be quickly implemented. We thought developing a flood response plan would be a good idea for the park, including detailed information about pre-storm closures, asset mapping, and potential relocation, as well as safety protocols. Moving sensitive equipment out of flood-prone basements could be an easier solution, including at particularly sensitive historic structures. One other strategy is elevating electric panels inside flood-prone buildings, as these are expensive to replace and can pose a safety hazard. Installing deployable flood barriers around key building entrances, and then increasing educational signage, showing visitors what's being done in response to flooding and other concerns. And this is actually a suggestion we received from stakeholders when we were presenting at the community conversation event. Longer term measures that would require permitting or potentially some engineering are elevating critical facilities, such as mechanical and electric systems, elevating them to a sea level rise adjusted design flood elevation is another strategy, and particularly taking a look at the useful life of the structure to kind of map out what sea level rise would be through the life of the structure. Elevating things such as bathrooms, storage sheds, and concession areas. Integrating wet floodproofing, which is designing the building to allow flood water in and out without structural damage. And then something really important is that any proposed adaptation strategy would have to be reviewed in coordination with the New York State Historic Preservation Office, which I'm sure everyone at the park is aware of, but we just thought we wanted to highlight that they're going to be a party to any potential adaptation measure. Green infrastructure solutions were another focus. We understand that there have been prior grant applications at the park for projects that do incorporate green infrastructure solutions, particularly at the parking lot. We want to use our plan to further supplement these so that they can be realized. In our plan, we focused on bioswales and rain gardens along the perimeter of the parking lot, between rows of parking or as curbed islands, kind of providing a co-benefit of heat relief and stormwater treatment, as well as shade trees and reflective or light colored pavement. We just want to have our document bolster any future funding opportunities by adding extra justification as to why green infrastructure would be a great improvement at the parking lot. And lastly, beach area solutions. As we stated, the beach area experiences erosion and flooding during heavy rain events. One easier to implement strategy would be erosion tracking at the beach using stakes, GPS, or drones. Just helping understand the rate of erosion and sediment movement is important for designing a solution. Other kind of softer techniques at the beach would be planting dune grasses to reduce wind stress, soft engineering techniques such as small sand fencing, which is a way to trap wind-blown sand and encourage it to accumulate in specific areas. And then we had some kind of costlier interventions that would take time, engineering and permitting, which would be creating just small marsh or wetland buffers, and then further investigating living shoreline feasibility. We know the nearby Edith Reed site serves as an example. So moving forward and doing a feasibility study as the next step would be something our plan recommends as well. So I know that was a lot. I apologize trying to kind of simplify a long document, but just wanted to offer my email address if anyone wanted to share any additional feedback or ideas. We've received some really helpful feedback from Rytown Park and the Long Island Sound Partnership, and we're working to finalizing the plan. And in the final version, having kind of a roadmap of next steps to help implement the recommendations we include. Sarah, do you want to add anything as well before we open up the floor?
No, I don't think so. Thank you. That was great. It's been, we've really appreciated the opportunity to offer, the support to Rytown Park Commission. I'm looking forward to hearing their thoughts on it, and just, say that, myself through New York Sea Grant and Long Island Sound Partnership are here to be a resource. Given the sort of roadmap of next steps, we do have a grant writing assistance program that I know I've talked to some of you about. That's an option. This program that you received this support through, we will be opening a third round in December of this year. So once this project is wrapped up, you guys would be eligible to apply again if you have other ideas that you want to seek planning support for. So just to say, I think all I have to say is that I'm here as a resource. I think you all know that, and I would love to talk to you further about how we can help support, implementation of the recommendations that Indigo River has outlined here, or other projects you might have in mind. So thanks.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Questions? Emily?
Yeah, I had a question. I wanted to make sure I understood. You were talking about the green infrastructure improvements in the parking lot. And I thought you mentioned that you acknowledged that we had applied for grants in the past, which is correct, and we have not received them, and that you thought that including this level of detail in an application might increase our chances of receiving a grant?
I think for any future grant application, including our vulnerability assessment and our adaptation plan that kind of drives home the need for these improvements could be helpful. And we didn't want to just repeat other green infrastructure solutions that had already been included in prior grant applications, but wanted to provide some kind of further detail and link them to recommended adaptation strategies that have been identified by local, state, and federal entities.
Thank you.
Jason?
Sure. Well, we certainly appreciate the report and some of these recommendations. I very vividly remember the cold day in the winter when some of these studies were announced over at Rytown Park. But I think you're looking at a couple of different things here, and probably from a day-to-day operational standpoint, it's really the heavy rainfalls that are impacting the park the most. And so finding some of the solutions for that are clearly important. When you're talking about sea level rising, you're talking about some of these hurricane events and larger storms, then what you're really looking at is, kind of the double whammy. You've got water coming down at an increased rate and nowhere for it to go. So I think really looking at some of those adaptive plans are going to be really crucial for Rytown Park into the future of how do we make it so when that happens that the damage is minimized as much as possible. So, you know, my personal opinion is to try and focus some of the grant applications on that and, you know, adapting to the new reality.
The problem is, we can't do everything at once, as we have found out.
Right, no, absolutely not, and there's limited budget, and, you know, being actually personally heavily involved in the Living Shoreline project at Reed Sanctuary, you know, it's something that, you know, we'll see how it works, it's brand new, we'll see how it weathers any future storms. It may not be as applicable here, because at Reed, it's more of a passive recreational area, looking at a very active beach, and so I don't know how it would translate to that, but certainly, you know, worth observing what's happening at Reed and seeing how that could be applied here.
Thanks. Louis, anything?
Yeah, I'm pretty much all set. I like the presentation. I want to thank you, man. Let's move forward. Like you said, you mentioned early, you know, I wish we can fix everything once. We can. Go step by steps. Thank you.
Josh, anything? Josh?
Thank you for the presentation.
Yeah, my comment, again, I echo, thank you very much. Very well done. And as I said, I wish we could do all at one time, but you are aware, and I don't know if you can help us at this point. I was going to give a capital project update, but two of them touch your presentation. One is the stormwater management. We have under the from the county, under their stormwater management program, we just got, I wouldn't say approved yet, but our plan for mitigating the stormwater runoff at the pond passed its first hurdle. It was referred by the Board of Legislators to its appropriate committee, and we expect action on that next week and full action by the Board of Legislators before the end of the year at its November meeting. And that will be a grant of almost $2 million against the $4 million project. We have also applied to the state through its Green Resiliency Grant program, and that's an 80% reimbursement. It's the same project. We haven't heard yet on that. I don't know if you have any influence with them, but any word that you could put in would be very beneficial. Is that a program, we don't have that with the congressional directed spending on that, correct? It's not in that one.
No, the parking lot.
Parking lot is, yeah.
Parking lot is
No,
part of the.
I'll get to that.
Yes.
I'll get to that. So the green parking lot is the subject of also the GRG grant. It's a combined grant of the stormwater mitigation with the green parking lot, and the green parking lot is separately a subject that's on Senator Gillibrand's list of projects to be completed. So if we get that should be 100% grant, and if we don't, and we get the GRG, that's a 90% grant. So we're working on all of those, and any word that you can help us with, we would greatly appreciate it with the granting agencies. I'll get to the other capital projects after this presentation, but those are the two resiliency projects that we are working on, and together it's approximately an $8 million project. I think $4 million for the stormwater, and I think another $4 million. Am I correct, Debbie? On the green parking lot.
Likely.
So So these are major, major projects for us.
Yes.
And it
Well,
will go a
fingers
long way,
crossed. Really
a
hoping
long way
it's
towards
awarded.
your report, which basically, touches this completely. And of course, all the other things that you recommend, we'll also have to look at.
Yeah.
And study, especially when your report is complete.
Yeah, we're in the process of developing a New York Swims grant application, which is due in less than a week, or about a week. So if there is a letter of support for that, it's the same hazard, stormwater
That's right, I forgot.
mitigation project that we are submitting. And your study is completely in line with that.
Yeah, so that's, I forgot, that's the third grant we're applying for the same project. So if we get them all, we'll have like, 180% of the cost. I don't think they're gonna let us do that, but as I always say, we apply for them and we hope we get them, and if we get more than one, then we'll try to figure out how we're gonna break it up. Something we're not gonna worry too much about. We'll worry about getting the grant first.
Right.
So, all right. Anything else?
Okay. Well, I'll follow up with Debbie on, I guess, the best way I can help
Okay,
support you.
great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Very good.
This was
Thanks.
a lot of work. You've got a really great team. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right. Moving on, I'm gonna continue with the capital projects update since I started it.
All right, the Rye Youth Council arrived.
I see that. This won't take long. Just give me another 5 minutes. The other capital projects that we're talking about, I just want the public and the commissioners who may not be aware of it. Work on the bathhouse interior has started. Demolition is underway, and we expect that the project will be totally complete by the beginning of beach season. Oh, Debbie, you have it up there, good. We have also, I signed the contract just the other day and got the completed contract back from the dormitory authority for the, I know this is not in the order, you have it up there.
True.
For the retaining wall. And we also have the first, that's for the first half, the first $250,000. The second $250,000, we have received a contract number, which means that it is in process, and we are now preparing to go out to bid for that. The pavilion roofs are now totally complete just this week. The column work that was done, that we had to postpone until after the summer, is now totally complete. I think I've stated before, the ADA beach level bathrooms are totally complete. The security cameras, the new security cameras that we approved are installed. I'm flipping through this. And, pardon me?
Gutters and leaders?
Well, the gutters and leaders on the Barley Beach House are completed. And I'm just going through those are the things that are either applied for, under construction, or completed.
Sidewalks?
Yes, the sidewalks that we approved last month are, what is it, 500 linear, 100 linear feet,
450
square feet.
square feet.
And that's a picture up on the screen that we approved. And that was along Forest Avenue. That was among those in the worst condition. And the, what's the name of the company doing the other work?
Precision sidewalks.
Precision Sidewalks will be starting momentarily to do the hazard mitigation that we are that we approved also last month. So that's as up to date as I can bring us right now.
So the pending applications are the flood mitigation
Yeah, we went through that.
and the
Parking,
parking lot.
right.
Coping and fencing above the sea.
Yeah, that is, we put in with congressional directed spending. That's not on anybody's list yet, right now. And we're looking hopefully to replace our light posts that are falling apart.
How many light posts do we have?
Oh, that's a knowable number. I'm gonna, and I don't remember it, but say,
30 plus.
30
it's about
plus.
right there.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of them.
right. So
Okay.
we put together a proposal for the congressionally directed spending application, which did not make it through onto any of the priority lists, for solar-powered and wind-powered lights. So the solar-powered lights would be modeled very similar to what you see on the left of your screen, which are historically echoing what we currently have in place, which would be necessary for the lampposts within the park campus itself in order to get approval from SHPO. I've been in touch with them on this. However, parking lights in the parking lot need not be historically consistent. And we've been, there's a company called Aris that has a combination solar wind powered lighting, which they've deployed all over Westchester County to success. And we would love to be able to work with them.
I was talking to Diana Page recently just about, at Friends of Rytown Park about their initiatives, and one of the things that I think this year she's thinking about first impressions, people walking into the park and what do you see? And one of the things that I noticed when walking around the park, I mean, besides how lovely it is, but we do have a lot of inconsistencies between like fencing or benches or, so I guess my only comment with this is I would prefer if for us to maintain one type of lamppost throughout the park and not go with different kind, I think, or it's a small park and it just, I don't know.
It's a valid point.
So, cause that looks like a fan and
It is, it's a wind, it's
a,
wind
yeah,
powered
and
a solar
a mirror and
My
a telephone
personal
box.
view, it's probably very cost effective, but it really is ugly.
Yeah, that's all
Really
I'm
is
trying to
ugly.
say without saying it. The other one is nice. Anyway.
While we're on that, I was gonna get to the next, the adjunct to what we're doing is the Friends of Rytown Park. And we really need to express our appreciation to Diana Page and the Friends. The window and door replacements that they initiated are complete. They have plans for replacing all of the existing trash and the recycling receptacles with new, more aesthetically pleasing units. I don't think we have a picture of that, but they are really nice and they're fantastically expensive. And I think if you talk about first impressions, Emily,
Yeah.
when people look at those trash cans, it's like,
Yeah.
And the ones they picked out are really attractive. They have the plans to do the exterior of the tower building along with the wall to, when you look at the tower building to the left, which is not a structural replacement, but is a aesthetic replacement. And that should be done next spring. And again, just let me comment, the Indigo River mentioned SHPO. SHPO was at the park last week, looking over everything that we've done, everything that that are proposed, and I think it's fair to say that they were very impressed with all of the work. And
So did we get that approval?
well, we've gotten it for everything. The one that we're waiting on is for the work that the Friends are doing.
Right.
Because one of the people who was not there was concerned with the material. But Gary Gianfrancisco, our architect, was explaining to the people that were there, who are a level above
That person.
that person.
Yeah.
And they seemed to be very satisfied, and I think that it's all gonna go through.
Okay, good.
So, anyway, any questions on capital? No? Good. Okay, and now, a presentation from the Rye Youth Council about the annual Rainbow Run.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. And I'm appreciative of Friends of Rye Town Park and Diana as well. I feel like the park is my second home. My name's Lisa Dominici, and I'm the executive director of the Rye Youth Council, which is a local nonprofit whose mission is to support social emotional development and the mental health and well-being of young people in our community. And I'm here for hopeful approval of our 7th annual Rainbow Run, which is a fundraiser and a color run that for the past 6 years has taken place in the park. Is for kids in grades K through 8 from any community. In fact, we have a nice cohort coming from Carver this year that we're very happy about. And it's a fun community building run that has a lot of participation from the Rye City Police and Fire Department, who are there, as you can see in the photo, under the rainbow. They're hard to tell from the kids the day of because they have a lot of fun, but it is a nice community building event. The powder we use is non-toxic, is food-based, food grade, like cornstarch type powder. It washes away in the rain, it leaves no mark. I think that's really what I need to share, unless you have questions. Oh, yes, that's important. It's it's Veterans Day this year, Tuesday, November 11th. Yeah, and we actually, for the past few years, we've had it on Election Day, but we changed that date because there are some schools in the area that didn't have off on Election Day, and we wanted to make it more inclusive to all the schools in the area. Yeah.
I think we're all in favor. May I have a motion and a second to authorize the annual Rainbow Run from the Rye Youth Council?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're
Have a nice
approved.
evening.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you.
Unless there's anything else, in your packet is the Rye Town Park Utilization Report. I don't think we need to go over that. It just shows how the park is utilized by residents and non-residents. If there are no other questions, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting is November 16th? No, it's not.
That's what's gonna be my question. She told me before it was the 19th, I believe.
November 16th is a Sunday. I know because it's Elaine's birthday.
It is Sunday, the 16th. I believe
Yes,
it's
so
the
the
19th.
third Tuesday in November indeed is the
Be the
18th.
18th.
Okay, next meeting is November 18th.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, correct that on the agenda when you get a chance?
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, can we add to the November agenda, sorry, just the off-leash program, because the Rye City Council passed the extended hour.
I don't think we need to do that.
We don't need to do anything here?
I don't believe so. I'll reread the resolution, but I think that it's in conjunction with the, I think we worded it, I don't recall, but I think we worded it to coincide with
Okay.
what the Rye City
With the-
Council did.
Okay,
But we can revisit the wording,
okay, great.
okay? My concern about that, and I did not have a chance to view the meeting. Was there any mention of the enforcement of that at the meeting? Mr. Mayor? Josh?
No, but there is certainly discussion among council members about how to handle that.
All right. Would that be an appropriate subject when I come before the council in November to discuss Rye Town Park? Think about it.
I think at that meeting, you should focus on budget, Gary.
Yeah.
That you will be in a budget meeting.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear that. Okay,
You've been there before.
pardon me?
This, I think, will be your third or fourth
My
year
third,
being in
my
our budget
third,
meeting.
my third. Yes, okay,
All right, thank you. I'm sorry we're gonna run.
okay, the meeting's over.
Great.
So,
I had boys playing football here, but